I was going to tell you real quick why you should read this book.
Yeah, please
This
do.
is Priya Parker. The book's called The Art of Gathering. I love books that
Who's it by?
Priya Parker.
Priya
Yeah.
Parker.
So I love books that state the obvious because sometimes you don't think about the obvious, but when they state it in a certain way, it's like, oh, geez. So she essentially talks about literally why we gather, and it's good for businesses, it's good for conferences, it's good for friend groups. But one example she gives is there was an American telecom company and a French telecom company, and they were going to meet up and they were going to merge, and everything was going good. The idea was the two telecom companies viewed themselves as equal. And because they had that equal stature, everything was getting along, even though the French one was bigger. The Americans didn't feel like, oh, we're being acquired. They felt like it was an actual merger.
Yeah.
Well,
By the way, there's no such thing as a merger of equals ever.
so they were going to meet in America, in I think New York. The meeting got moved to a French chateau. And the French chateau, she states in this book, brought out the Frenchiness in them to the point where their pride went through the roof, and the Americans now felt lesser, and the deal was killed. So she walks through like simple stuff like that, where it's like you don't think a meeting place matters, but it does matter.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so basic. It's really simple about group dynamics. The classic, you're going out to a bar with a bunch of buddies, and you have that one buddy who's like, "Can I bring my girlfriend?" Why does it feel weird when he's like, "Can I bring my girlfriend?"
You know, that's something, like, do you like that or not?
I hate that.
Do you?
I hate that because the goal and the purpose is men act different around women. 100% they do. Don't care if anybody says they don't. They do.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to have a boys' night where you can bond, because that's how men bond, and you invite not even just a woman, but an outsider in general, say outside the friend group, it kills the momentum of that gathering. And she talks about that. She talks about people who, the real purpose of a gathering group. So one example she gives is there's this group of friends who are working out, and let's just say they're doing yoga every Monday. Well, one friend had to stop, and they were like, hey, we're just going to add someone new. And the whole group was like, no, we don't actually want to do that. And they came back and realized, actually, we're not here to do yoga, even though that's what we're doing. We're doing this because this is our one time a week as friends we can catch up.
Right.
So just little things like that. I love books that kind of state the obvious. But
Yeah, it's interesting. I've had a number of experiences where I'm at a dinner party or something or an event. I always find it weird when the guy brings his wife or his girlfriend or vice versa. Like, I don't see the vice versa often, where the girl brings another
yeah,
plus one. But for me, it's really weird, dude. It's really weird. And then they bring babies, and I'm like, dude, this is no longer a business meeting. Like, I have never brought my spouse or dates to businesses. I am there to do one thing, dude.
yeah.
Business. I am not there to hold my girl's hand and placate her, make sure that she's cool, and I'm just not there for that now. Which brings me to, since you shared a book with me, and I thank you for, I think that, are you going to share that with me?
Yeah. I've already read it.
Can I? See, he actually didn't say, he didn't say, hey, you should read this book, go on Amazon. He actually brings me the book. I like that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
One, I'll read it. Two, you've removed any of my, any inertia from me getting information in my hand, right? You literally hand it to me like the old-fashioned days. And I'll do one for you also. I read a book once, probably one of the best books I've ever read. It's called Surrounded by Idiots. And I immediately love the title because I'm like, dude, I have been surrounded by idiots my entire life. When you read the book, come back and let me know, like, what your thought was when I said first, hey, surrounded by idiots, because it sounds really demeaning.
Yeah.
I'll be really fascinated with your...
Does it turn around and be like, no, you're the idiot? Like, surprise.
I think we're all idiots.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay? Like, if you stuck me into a scientific community discussion on COVID-19 and the vaccines, I am the idiot.
Yeah.
Right? So now I may have particular perspective on that, but this is what this book's about, is that rather than, hey, you're an idiot, no, you have expertise. You are a certain color, okay? You think a certain way, and It's when I bring ideas to people that don't think the way I think and expect them to give me an answer that I want.
Yeah.
But they can't. It's impossible for somebody with like very, very conservative, highly organized, really detail focused to think like me. It's like you need another weird guy like me to think like me. Anyway, I think you'll really.
When did you read it?
I read this about, excuse me, getting over a really rough cold. I'm told now by the doctors the cold is more powerful than
Because
than
of all the
than the
stuff?
COVID shit.
Okay, Thomas Erickson,
Yeah.
Surrounded by Idiots.
Yeah, Thomas Erickson. I'll get it for you, so you don't have to do the effort. I'll buy it and have it delivered here. But by the way, I think that's really just for me. If you were going to suggest a book to somebody, look, these books cost $12. Okay, what? I can't go online. I can't have Becca. Hey, Becca, order a book for Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, put my signature. I hope you enjoy this. Right? It's $12, man. I mean,
I give them out as gifts a lot.
if I bought the hard edition, it would cost me $17.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even have to go to the store to get it, and it doesn't cost me shipping and handling. So anyway, Surrounded by Idiots. I believe in reading. I probably read. This would be a good session for us to have actually about reading. I probably read 2 or 3 books a week, and that has only increased because of technology. Like I may watch 2 hours of YouTube, an explanation, math explanation, or I may watch a presentation, or I may listen to the audio. Like we were here with the congresswoman the other day, and she's like, well, I listen, and that's not really learning. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why would you diminish listening to an audio book on, let's say, the story of XYZ and say that's not reading a book? While you're driving down the road doing 80, that's an extremely good use of time.
Yeah.
You can't read a book while you're doing 80,
No.
right? So, but to
Or
be
you
able
shouldn't be.
yeah, to be able to listen to that and to be able to assimilate the information. So, yeah, I really believe in reading, learning, studying, and not so much. I don't really think about it as studying. I think about it more as, hey, look, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning something. It sounds less like it's less work. I'm learning. Oh, I'm studying. Sounds so serious to study, right? So anyway, I don't know how we got off on that, but it's because of the books, The Art of Gathering.
Yeah, your book reminds me of the simple saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
And
I hate
think
being the smartest guy.
Yep. Nothing to learn.
Nothing to learn.
Well, let's talk about the recent news, which I think is really awesome. So,
I heard the news today, oh boy,
is that the Beatles?
about a lucky man who bought some Bitcoin.
Heard the news today. What? Oh, that's David Bowie, isn't it?
No, that's Beatles.
Life on Mars or something? That's you. That's a Gary Cardone original. Trump.
$70,000 and $538 is Bitcoin's price, just FYI.
So Trump spoke at the Libertarian National Convention. The Libertarian Party, which it was funny, he jabbed them a lot. He was like, listen, you could either vote for me to be your nominee and win or stick to your 3% forever. But the Libertarian Party, which is known for not being the most serious political party in the U.S., but has enough power to potentially swing elections, especially when they're thin margins, they actually invited RFK and Trump to speak. And both of them, well, actually only RFK got nominated, but he just lost the nomination. But Trump went and spoke, and if you look, are you familiar with Ross Ulbricht and the Silk Road and stuff like that?
A little bit. He's got 11 years, doing 11 of 40 years. He's having to serve, young man.
Yeah, 2 life sentences. His mother used to be in St. Pete, actually, so she used to come to a lot of our St. Pete meetups. She might be in Miami now. But Free Ross has been like a Bitcoin statement for the longest time. I think when was Silk Road? 2011, 2012, and he's been in jail since then. It's a long time. So if you look at the Libertarian Convention where Trump was speaking, there was no signs about health care or immigration or, voting. Everyone had a Free Ross sign. So Trump goes up there and he says, I'm going to commute Ross Ulbricht's sentence. That was the first thing he said, which is like, okay, boom, right there. Every Bitcoiner in the world is now going to vote for this guy. But then, looking at his teleprompter, of course, he says, I'm also going to be for the right for you to self-custody your Bitcoin and to protect you from Elizabeth Warren. I kid you not. So it is crazy.
I think that he said, I will make sure that Elizabeth Warren doesn't get her dirty
hands
on your Bitcoin.
Yep.
I thought that was awesome.
Would you have ever imagined that? Just we were even talking about 3 weeks ago. It was like, what's Trump going to do? And now he's so clearly divided a line or drawn a line in the sand. I think it's amazing because now it's so obvious your choice. And I was talking about when I was on a Twitter Spaces afterward how politically smart this is, because if you think about it, Biden, for example, could pardon Ross Ulbricht right now. So if he doesn't, which Trump is forcing his hand, if he doesn't, it makes him look like the anti-Bitcoin guy. If he does, he now looks like he's still the weaker hand because he's responding to Trump. And that's the case with the other Bitcoin comments as well. So Trump essentially painted Biden in a corner to where now Trump is the de facto pro-Bitcoin guy, the pro-crypto guy, and now Biden's going to be the anti-Bitcoin guy. And so I just thought that was really strategically smart. Of course, the Libertarian Party, I think today, nominated their presidential candidate, and I think it was a guy who is pro mandates, medical mandates, pro lockdowns, and pro. He's essentially a communist, actually, which is what's really interesting, and that's why people were roasting him on Twitter. So now it looks like every libertarian in the U.S. is going to be voting for Donald Trump. Talk about a win.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that. Not to be right here, but always irritates me when people go, "Oh yes, I knew this. I predicted it 37 months ago." But look, Trump is always going to be pro-business.
Yeah.
It's in his DNA, dude. Like he doesn't care. He's not going to get all sanctimonious. He knows the truth about how most businesses are created, right? Nobody's talking about the liquor industry today is like it's Silk Road. Well,
Yeah.
Joe Kennedy built his entire family fortune on criminal activities in the alcohol prohibition period. Okay,
Who was that? Joe Kennedy?
Joe Kennedy, dude. Joe Kennedy Sr.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Dude, that's how John F. Kennedy got in office, dude. Organized crime, Chicago, import, and bootleg.
Dad got rich off of.
Totally, dude.
No, I didn't know that.
Totally monster player in importing alcohol from Canada.
Whoa.
Monster player. Okay, go look it up. Most all families of great wealth came from something dodgy. Diamonds. How many people have died over diamonds?
And that's where Elon's father, I think, got his money, right? Diamond mines.
Oil, Standard Oil. What, you don't think anybody got hurt in the oil business? Come on. So all these businesses are formed very, very similar ways. It's what I call on the edges. Think of a golf course, right? I make all my money out in the not in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah.
Hitting par. I get my bets amplified when I go off into the rough. And most people, when they're building businesses, they build them in the rough. They build them off to the edges where all the margin is. Right in the middle of the fairway, like General Electric selling turbines, there's no margin there. Everybody can do that, right? It's where, hey, let's go get a little edge case. You hear this word, edge case? Hey, we have an edge case. Well, edge case for crypto was drugs, and I'm told actually very high-quality drugs, not trash. There was this review system that actually was better than
on the Silk
streets.
Road?
Yeah, because of the centralization of that platform, it allowed for reviews to be done. Hey, this is great heroin. Look, I personally believe people should be able to put whatever they want in their bodies as long as they know what's actually being shown up. It's the actual ingredients. I think professional athletes, we ought to, since we've had 40 years of trying to control what they put in their bodies, stop trying to control it. Say everything is legal. We have 100-yard passes. We have 600-foot home runs. Like Barry Bonds taking steroids did not increase his ability to hit the ball.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay? It did not. If you have more muscle, it's actually more difficult to swing that bat. So Barry Bonds, like for me, you're not going to stop it anyway. And these guys making $30, $40, $50 million, dude, stick whatever drugs you want in your system. Understand your $30 or $40 million a year is probably going to get hammered if you take the wrong drugs.
They're actually going to have performance-enhancing drugs like games now, like Olympics.
I think it'd be totally cool, dude. They're doing it anyway, okay?
Yeah. Well, that's like
So-
they took Lance Armstrong, the
Yeah,
biker,
exactly.
all of his awards away, which I thought was
Well,
BS.
no, you
All
really?
his titles.
Oh, now see me. I think that was the right treatment because
Why?
because he was a liar. That's why. Because he literally said, I don't do any of that. I am pure. Okay, and now we learn, hey, you can't compete at that level and be pure. It's not possible. Anyway, we're off track, but
Yeah.
for a guy to get 40 years, is that what the sentence was? 40 years?
No, he's got 2 life sentences.
Two
So
life.
he's there till he dies. He's
How old
there
is he
till
right now?
dies.
28?
Below 30, yeah.
So, and then, let's see, who goes to prison anymore for serious violations, right? Who else is doing 2 life terms?
Murderers.
Yeah, rapists, right? I'm pretty sure Harvey Weinstein's getting off. It looks like Kevin Spacey's getting off.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Let's see
doesn't
what
have 2 life sentences.
Sam Bankman-Fried stole billions right under the FTC and the SEC's purview. I mean, these are the people that should be going to prison, dude. Guy running the SEC and the FTC, Adam Levine and Gensler. Like, bro, you missed it. Now, did you miss it or did you just turn the other eye? Because you would have been blind not to see these 2 crimes, right? The Madoff crime. I mean, it's over and over and over. 40 years for a guy running a platform like that. Outlandish. Absolutely outlandish. Look, I think Trump is going to be pro-business. And crypto and Bitcoin is pro-business. It is absolutely pro-business. What it isn't, what it's against Bitcoin is the anti-monopoly coin.
Yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin is the hey, quit taking advantage of the small people. Okay, Visa, MasterCard, all you big boys, come pick on some real players instead of taking money from, underprivileged, over-challenged, undereducated, don't understand how the system works because you didn't ever teach them, Visa, MasterCard, and everybody else. You guys have so much money, you could have literally taught everyone on this planet the truth about economics, about monetary supply, about how food chains work, the entire production chain to get products to you. It's really so I think look, and I think Trump is a 21st century general. Like Trump, I'm not an old guy. I'm not an old guy. I think like a very young man. And I think we're separating the worlds right now into these young people that think they know a bunch of stuff and they know nothing, and a bunch of old people who are convinced they know the way the world is actually supposed to be put together, and they know nothing, right? And most definitely neither of us, the young group and the old group, we don't really know where we're headed. And what I'm certain of is this Bitcoin thing is much, much, much bigger than anyone would have anticipated. Just 3 months ago, you were saying, I don't know if this becomes a major issue. It's becoming an issue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he spoke about Bitcoin a lot longer the other night than I thought. In his comments, I was painting downstairs, and I'm like, bro, this is absolutely happening.
Were you listening while you were painting?
Totally, dude. And when he said Elizabeth Warren will not get her greasy, dirty hands on your Bitcoin.
And the whole crowd just went bonkers and erupted.
Well, you know why? Not even if you're not a Bitcoiner, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, stop putting your grubby, parasitic, vampire hands on my shit, man. Okay?
Yeah.
I have been working my whole life. Quit taking it. Quit. And the taking shows up in Range Rovers now costing $240,000. Okay, houses costing $700,000. Interest rates being at 8%, if you can even get any money. There's no 8% money out there. Not for Joe Schmo. Okay, for Grant Cardone, plenty of cap. Okay, plenty of capital out there. But for you, people charging late fees on a credit card transaction like at Netflix. You get an $8 freaking delay fee for one day being late, one fee for a $15 charge. Like in some countries, dude, that is criminal. Okay, the interest rate is so usury on a $12 charge to get $8 late fee.
Yeah.
It's I would like to see I would like to see who said it the other night. I was watching something that Warren Buffett did, and he said he could solve the debt problem in
Oh,
15 minutes.
yeah. He said they don't get paid until it's a balanced budget. Congress just doesn't get paid, right? Isn't that what he said?
They don't. No, they lose their term.
Oh, okay. They're not elected.
Something you're not. You can't renew your thing if you have a debt structure that's X. I thought that. I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool, dude. You don't see, but there's penalties there. Like if when I was running a company, a public company or a private company or any company, like if I don't perform, I get replaced. In America, that doesn't happen. Okay. Now I could look at Putin. People will go, well, the Russian czar, the Russian president doesn't get replaced either. He seems to me like he's doing his job. Like I wouldn't fire him either. Like I actually give Putin a B plus, and I give Biden an F minus. In fact, I give all America an F.
F minus.
Yeah.
What's crazy is the first time I realized that was, believe it or not, the first bill that I passed was creating like a blockchain task force here in Florida. And the bill said, task force has to be created by this date, and then by this date you have to have a report. And this is, I'm like 21. And so the dates go by, and I'm like, hey, there's no report. Why is there no report? And a guy looks at me and goes, well, look at the bill. What's the punishment if they don't get it in time? And of course, if I had a punishment in the bill, then it wouldn't have passed.
Correct.
And so then they said, yeah, just because the date's in there, we can publish it whenever they want. Even though it says deadline to get it published is by here. They're like, it don't matter. I was like, wow, holy cow.
Yeah, no responsibility. Okay. I mean, none. And people forget, hey, look, we're supposed to have a date on this date. There's no follow-up.
And if you put responsibility in there, then they just don't pass it.
Right.
Right? And that's what was so astonishing to me is like, well, why don't we just pass a bill that makes responsibility? I'm not signing that. I'm not voting yes on that.
Well, in order for you to pass a bill that has responsibility, you have to be willing to have an audit. And I don't think our gold reserves have been audited in 40 years. Cannot even get a gold audit, man. The Fed, can anyone tell me, has the Fed ever been audited?
No, I don't.
And if so, by who? And what were the results? When was the last time the U.S. Fed was audited? You and I are building this little business here, and
we were just going over the budget this morning.
And as soon as you go over the budget, you start looking at things like, hey, what's that? Why is that? Why are we doing it that way? Why did we report like that? That fee just says 30 grand. What is that? And you start to realize, shit, man, we don't have enough details on what we're doing here. Mm-hmm. And those details allow a guy like me to look at it and go, oh, look, there must be a little problem here because these numbers don't, just the way they're being presented, right? You begin to understand, okay, there's not clarity on what we're trying to do. And the example I use is like, running a business is very, very similar to having a private jet. Like I have never, me and my brother share this in common. I have never, ever asked one time how much the fuel was. Never. I hear everybody getting all jacked up over the fuel to run a plane. Dude, the plane's not any good without the fuel. Zero. It is a liability without the jet fuel. And it's a little bit like me going to the gasoline station, filling up my car, right? And then I go, okay, look, I'm not going to use this car.
Yeah.
Why did I put fuel in it? I'm putting fuel in it. That's the same as an employee. That's the same as buying a computer and then buying some cameras here and doing some work, right? It's exactly the same thing. Hey, we need to know how much fuel is in the tank and how far can we go. And people get all nervous around budgets and shit. It's like, dude, how much gasoline's in your tank? This is exactly the same exercise. Make sense?
Yeah.
It's not complicated. It's so simple. It's unbelievable. So I don't know how we got off on that. I wish I could put Bitcoin in my gasoline tank. And then I would store my car in my garage, lock it down, and never move it.
Yeah. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I think one thing that annoys me is I don't think people fully understand that to be pro something, you don't have to be negative something else. So when I was talking to some Bitcoiners, they're like, Trump is only pro Bitcoin because we're going to vote for him, which, by the way, yeah, no, duh. But then, two, they're like, I won't believe him until he says we're replacing the US dollar with Bitcoin.
Well, they're idiots. Okay. I don't care who you are. You could be Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor would never make that comment.
Correct.
That is a stupid comment. It is so ignorant, so naive. I'd love to know who said that.
Well, I had people reach out in my DMs.
Have them show up.
I'd had people reach out in my DMs and be like, well, Trump's just pandering. I'm like, what do you think democracy is? So you're not hating on Trump for pandering. You're hating on the entire system. The democracy is the politician sees what voters want and he responds. This is exactly how it's supposed to be working. They go, oh, it's an election season. Of course he's pro-Bitcoin. Yeah, exactly. And so now he earns your vote. That's how the system works.
Yeah, I mean, ask yourself this question. Would you rather him say nothing? Would you rather him go against it? Like, I don't know what makes you guys happy, but I think you're all going to be very desperately unhappy for a long time because it's never going to – you're looking for a utopian black or white, and you're no better off than the fucking group that's in office right now because they want it all black, dude.
It's politics of resentment. I think we've talked about that before. It's just you just hate what you aren't, and so anything you aren't, you're just like, no, and you almost become depressed because you just paint this unrealistic worldview. The only people I hear complain about this stuff are the people who have had zero influence and never tried to have influence because they just don't try. I'm like, you're upset at the system because you don't have any input or power in the system because you haven't tried to. You're just sitting on your computer and complaining.
Yeah. Well, that's apathy, though, right? It's the critical nature of people. People that I was actually on a space this weekend talking about people that are critical, just naturally critical. I mean, I watch people's words very carefully, and I stay out of a lot of trouble from toxic people. All you have to do is listen to their words, okay? Mm-hmm. And when somebody's critical, kind of sideways critical, passive aggressive, I mean, these are indicators to me that they're empty or they're driving an agenda to polarize people. And people keep asking me, hey, why are you doing this media stuff? And the reason is because this, you brought up the art of gathering. Like, I have always wanted to gather, dude. Okay, I've always wanted to be a part of a really cool team of people. And to get back to the criticism piece, I'm more interested in how much you and I have in common, not how much we don't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not 230. I don't wear tight shirts.
Is this a tight shirt?
Well, it's a tight.
Well, it's tight on the arms, but is this a tight shirt?
Go ahead and do the.
I was just asking Ryan.
Go ahead and do that little flex.
I asked Ryan. I was like, Ryan, have I gotten fatter? And he's like, I don't look at your body, man. I'm like, yes, you do. Have I gotten fatter? That was just an excuse.
That's a homo guy homophobic guy behind the camera right there.
Come on, you can't give me just some good feedback.
No, dude, you're all.
But Gary's honest. Gary's like, yeah, Sam, you have gotten fatter. You need to lose some weight.
Well, I actually thought there was muscle there, but see, but for me, I don't like wearing the tight. But who cares, dude?
Yeah, style. Yeah,
like what? What? I'm going to make it about. I don't care if you have bigger arms than me, dude. So you're not wearing the thing down to your navel with a big old gold thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Ear pod in your face and tats all over. I mean, which I actually don't really mind the tats that much if you can really wear it. But to me, we're the being able to, like, I like Trump, okay? You don't need to know if Trump is like, Trump doesn't know shit about crypto.
No.
Let's be honest. Doesn't know shit about crypto.
He doesn't need to.
He probably doesn't know anything about EVs either, guys, or space rockets. He doesn't need to. He is Chief Product Officer for the United States of America, Chief Executive Officer, Chief Protection Officer, Chief Mouth, okay? If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
Leave the fucking country, Oprah. Tom Hanks. See you the fuck later. Excuse
never
my
will.
language, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, you will not.
They never will.
Oprah, I'll pay you $1 million to leave.
Yeah,
Like,
they'll never
I
leave.
bet you $1 million, Oprah, you will not rescind your passport. I'll give you or your charity any charity you want, dude. Even the gayest of the gays, okay? The most vaccinated groups of the world, I will give $1 million to if you leave this country on November the 3rd after you realize Donald Trump won this election. I will do that. So I think that's awesome. So I don't think I need look, if Biden was doing a good job, I don't even care if Biden could speak or not. If he's doing a good job and the product's there, cool. No wars, low taxes, everybody's happy, man. There's money being made in the streets. We have a clear view of where we're headed into the future. Awesome, dude. Don't even show up for the camera. But you're an idiot, okay? Your results are bad. No one in this country likes each other. No one likes us. If we ran a poll, we should run a poll on Twitter or YouTube. What is the but only Europeans and non-Americans vote, right? Do a reputational analysis of the United States from the perspective of other people. It's horrific. I bet you it's at all-time low.
Well, it depends on, normally it actually depends on the political leanings of the people in that country, which is, I think, really interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, though. I think you'll find that it's really, really bad, and it doesn't matter what our leanings are. I think people are just disgusted with what we've become because it's becoming so clear that we're a nation. We have people pretending to be kings and queens, and they are literally without any clothes. They're not even kings and queens, but they are most certainly naked. And it's becoming clear to everyone, powerless and naked and ignorant. And actually, if they're not ignorant, they're just totally criminal.
Yeah.
Like, you're either totally incompetent at this point or you're a total criminal. You're like, it can't be.
It's hard to tell the difference, isn't it?
My God.
What is incompetency and what is just...
Well, which would you rather? Would you rather incompetence or criminal?
I think criminal.
Interesting.
I think about that all the time. What is scarier? Is it scarier to believe that there's some hidden hand running everything? Or is it scary that we're really this incompetent? The difference is with a hidden hand, you have something you can stop. Because that means someone's in control. You can stop someone who's in control and replace them. If it's just incompetence, there's no target. It's just a whole system of people just doing whatever. I think incompetence to me is scarier.
Yeah.
And it's also less predictable.
That's a fact. Now, on that point, I made a prediction about a week ago that in 3 months, what are we, June? It's May the 27th or something?
Yeah, May the 27th.
In 3 to 4 months, I think every congressman, every senator, every mayor, whatever other titles people have in politics, are going to wake up, they're going to open their 401k, their IRA, their pension, and they're going to see Bitcoin sitting in their bloody P&L in one of their funds. And we have effectively adopted every politician in the United States to Bitcoin in the next 4 months. Okay, because people don't really understand how investment vehicles work. I would be willing, in fact, Nancy Pelosi, please tell your contingent how much Bitcoin you own right now, how much Bitcoin ETFs you own, how much Coinbase do you own, do you own any Kraken,
Yeah.
do you own Binance, do you own do you own Tether, do you own Circle, okay? What is your investment in the digital asset industry? In 4 months, you will all be pregnant with Bitcoin. You will all have been literally impregnated with Bitcoin through your investment holding facilities. 994 companies in the last quarter dumped over $100 million each into Bitcoin. Okay, this is the first of 13 or 14,000 of these firms who will deploy capital into Bitcoin. And isn't it going to be interesting right before November the 2nd, which is, I believe, the election, assuming we have that election, isn't it going to be interesting to see that we have almost every senator, congressman, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, and otherwise holding Bitcoin in their pensions? And what kind of game theory does that create? Because when a congressman sees their investment go from 100 to 300 grand in 4 months,
Yeah.
I'm pretty much certain that they will support the shit out of Bitcoin and everything related to it.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Well, we got to get ready to wrap up because our next meeting here is coming up.
Okay.
Do you have any closing comments?
Vote, talk, communicate, guys. You have to communicate, okay? Follow us, subscribe to the channel. I know, he's promoting it again. Hey, look, you see this? The Art of Gathering. I haven't read this, but I will read it before the week's over. The Art of Gathering is about getting together first. You got to get together first, okay? Now, you can look at me and go, wow, he wears hoodies, don't like him. Or you can look at me and go, hey, wow, he's actually trying to get people to come together. Don't care what your religion is. Don't care what your accent is. Don't care what your IQ is. I care what your heart is. And if we come together as a larger and larger and larger population, and we have these platforms to communicate from, that's why I say you have to use your voice. If you're tired of hearing about stuff, say no. Say stop it. Knock it off. I don't want to go to war. I'm tired of my tax dollars killing people, maiming children, destroying families for decades, generations and generations. You come kill my children, I will become a psychopath. I will do anything. Dude, I would do anything, and I would do it for centuries. I would literally just, I will work. I will have babies. I will poison those babies against whoever killed my babies. And that's what's happening right now, man. We have irritated a lot of people. We have offended so many families, and they're angry with us. And I think we just, I want to come together and stop these politicians from pulling triggers they have no accountability on. They don't even feel the recoil of the weapon.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like there is, hey, let's just send some weapons over there and act like it didn't happen. Okay? Let's send some more money over there, but none of our children. Instead, it's Ivan Okishkanov getting destroyed, blown up instead of Gary Cardone or Mia Cardone. You blow off one of my daughter's arms, okay? Let's see how I feel about that shit. That's ridiculous that we continue to do this. So, and it's continuous, man. It's just on a loop now. Book 1. It'd be like writing this book every 4 years.
Yeah.
Chapter, session 2, session 3, session 4, session 5. So, and there's no art of gathering. It's the art of destruction. It's the art of destruction. So I'm interested in creation and gathering. That's all in.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Ryan, is there a way we can get that on Twitter today?